Good afternoon and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. And today is a special message for our whole congregation, updating us on the governor's new directive for places of worship. I want to update you on the latest 13-page directive from the governor about places of worship and your synagogue's approach going forward. This information is a lot to digest, but I think it's important for you to know the temple's thinking of some of the major concerns we are facing. Today's 2 Minutes of Torah is as Torah as it gets. It is at the heart of our deepest values as a community, a faith-based community. Without controversy, without a doubt, whether Orthodox or Reform, our faith's highest mitzvah is what is called pikuach nefesh, the saving and preservation of life, and it supersedes all other mitzvahs. Here's the thing. I miss you. I miss you all so very much. We miss each other. We miss the music of singing in our beautiful synagogue. I miss the sounds of children at play. I miss the joy of greeting each of you on Shabbat in person. But I think it is very fair to say we are no less a community today than we were in the middle of March. Some might argue that we're even more connected today than we've ever been. When have we ever had 1,000 people at Shabbat services consistently like we do now, which I'm sure will continue when we are back in the building? But I digress. We desperately desire to be back in person. But as your rabbi, and on behalf of our presidents, Mickey Gubman and Heath Leiner, and our whole board of trustees, we will not gather 1 second before it is safe to do so. In that spirit, we are diligently working to figure out how to do that now, as we have a new directive from the government and the governor as of this weekend. But it is not so simple, as there are many details to this 13-page set of guidelines to be addressed in terms of how we achieve ensuring that coming back together is safe for all. Before I share some of the challenges, I want to tell you that there are 4 working groups who will be spending their energy to figure out how to reopen or reconfigure the following. We have our Shabbat service working group, our high holiday working group, our religious school working group, and our administration reopen working group. We will remain as we are currently until such time as we have developed protocols for each of these topics, such that we are following that highest mitzvah of pikuach nefesh, the preservation of life. Here are just some of the governor's guidelines, which are very instructive, and we want to be sure to abide by them. Until such time as we can, we will remain online for now. My review of some of these is to demonstrate the kinds of conversations we are having in the working groups to ensure a safe reopening. The guidelines say, for example, even with adherence to physical distancing, convening in a congregational setting of multiple different households to practice a personal faith carries a relatively higher risk for widespread transmission of the COVID-19 virus and may result in increased rates of infection, hospitalization, and death, especially among the more vulnerable populations. As your rabbi and presidents, we spent so much time worrying and addressing aggressively your physical security from unwanted persons. Now we must aggressively, as a congregation, protect one another's health and safety as well. Relatively higher risk is too high a risk right now, and that would be 1 second too soon to open. The governor goes on to say, places of worship must therefore limit attendance to 25% of building capacity or a maximum of 100 attendees, whichever is lower. One of the many questions the Shabbat service working group will address is, how do we decide which 100 people get to come? The directive states clearly, discontinue large gatherings that encourage congregants and visitors to travel and break physical distancing during activities such as concerts, large holidays, and life event celebrations and remembrances. This has deep implications for the high holy days. Another challenge of the many to reopening during a pandemic that I will mention as an example is the directive that states, strongly consider discontinuing singing, group recitation, and other practices and performances where there is increased likelihood for transmission from contaminated exhaled droplets. If I say from the bima, welcome to Shabbat services, but please don't sing the Shema in the pews or other prayers, as you might infect the person in front of you, sort of antithetical to the spirit of Jewish prayer, which I know so many people are enjoying at home right now in safety, singing loudly and without hesitation. In fact, the research is clear that singing aloud is more dangerous for spreading the virus than even coughing or sneezing. Friends, COVID-19 has hit the temple. Dozens of our congregational family have had the virus, and some relatives of our temple members from New York have lost their lives from coronavirus. It is very much real. As you can see, the challenges are great and nuanced for reopening and are a challenge. I want to ensure that we as a community come together. We are up to this challenge, and we want very much to be together in person again as soon as humanly possible, but not before we are sure it is safe to do so, and we are working on it. It is our sacred responsibility to you, and more importantly, to each other. If anything, Judaism is not a religion about being self-serving. It is about serving the other. We are communal, and right now, until we can figure this all out, but you have my solemn word, our president's word, and our board's word, we will do so as fast as we can, and more importantly, as safely as we can, so that we serve you and we serve each other. For we have that responsibility as well, according to the highest mitzvah of preserving life and health. I promise you we will come through this stronger and better. And I can't wait for the time when the 1,000 people a week watching online for Shabbat services will come to the Pearly Family campus of Shir in person each week to celebrate with joy and gladness as one community. I look forward to seeing you there. May God bless all of us in the days and weeks ahead with safety and with health. Thank you so very much. Have a wonderful afternoon.